Hey, how's it going? What you're looking at here is American Sportworks Carbide, or the Quantum / Carbide. We've got a couple different models out. This is the 7150 model, the beefed up one. And they do have a brand new carbide with a little bit different body style. And there's a couple other things different, but it's pretty close to the same thing. The overall length on this machine is 85 inches. Overall width is 55.4, and the overall height is 57.4. So if you're wondering about trailering it, plan on being 55.4 inches wide or wider trailer. You'd be able to put it in there. Now this has that typical 150cc GY6 motor on it with the CVT transmission that you see on many of the go-karts. A pretty rugged setup, and you can literally find tons of performance upgrades for this thing for overstock. Now this has the 2.64 gallon very rugged gas tank, and of course it's fed. You don't have a fuel pump down into the carburetor, but up underneath here there's a valve that's run off your vacuum. When this engine starts, it opens that up and then it puts gas in, and it's basically an auto shut off. When the engine's off, the vacuum stops and you get no fuel flow, which is a pretty good feature on these. And then your electrical box where all your CDI and everything is, it's pretty well contained inside this box here. You got an actual kill switch here, but eventually I'm going to open that up. Probably not this video, because I want to do some performance upgrades and show you some stuff on there, and then we'll be testing that out. As far as the air box, it's got a pretty damn good air box, a big filter, and as you can see here, you got your intake coming up, and it's taking totally fresh air into it. It seems to work quite well. And this one comes with a nice hitch on it, which I doubt I'll ever use. The other good thing about this go-kart is very solid, hardened 1.25 inch solid axles on the back, which will withstand a lot of abuse. And as far as the tires on this one, the back ones are a 21 by 10 by 10s, and they do a pretty good job. One thing I've noticed, if you run that tire pressure down a little bit, you're going to lose a lot of top end drivability. I think 15 pounds max, and I'm probably running about 15 right now. But the other good thing about this go-kart are these fenders. You wouldn't think they were, but they're very rugged fenders. They take a hell of a lot of abuse, both the front and the rear. Pretty flexible, fairly easy to replace if something happens. And that front tire is 19 by 7 by 8. The seats on it are very comfortable. They do a real good job. This driver one is actually, there's a little lever down below here that you can lift it and adjust it quite a bit forward, and it goes far enough where my 10-year-old can actually reach the gas pedals on it. And I'm about probably 5'11" and 230 pounds, and I can fit very comfortably in it, which to me was very surprising. Now, as far as the shifter goes, you have your neutral, and then forward, and then reverse, and you do have a nice parking brake. And one thing I wish it would do is show you a light saying it's on, because I've left that thing on so damn many times. Kind of irritating. Now, as far as the dash goes, you have your light switch and then another kill switch and your ignition switch. Nothing real fancy, but it does get the job done. I had added another light up under here to shine down on everything, so the kids and myself can see the pedals and that at night, because it is pretty dark at night on the front, other than a speedometer, which I'll show you that. There's a speedometer. It actually works pretty well, but one thing, it's not the most accurate. I'm going to be testing that out in this video, but it does get the job done. It has a pretty nice white light, if you can see that in the background there. And the steering wheel itself Very happy with that. It's a very nice steering wheel. I'm going to switch over to my action cam here. Maybe I get a little bit better footage, but pardon the shaking. There's the dash again. The speedometer. Steering wheel up underneath. A lot of these boots start warping on it a little bit. And as far as the front suspension, it's got dual A-arms, which is pretty awesome. And works quite well. You have an adjustable shock system, and as far as the brakes, you have front calipers and a rear caliper, and you have an actual brake reservoir to where you push your brakes. That works. The headlights on it, they could be a little bit to desire. They're 35 watts. They don't put out an incredible amount of light, so I have added some other lighting to it. I'm in the process of putting more on for the kids and that. But the welds on this thing are incredibly good. It's well built, these carbides. I have not had any issues with welds breaking on it. The lights, as far as what I was saying, are you just got them front two lights and then a brake light, which it's actually pretty bright, but for now I just put these little blazers up here. They do help shine down on everything and off to the side in the process of hooking up a brighter light on it. But as far as leg room, like I said, it's pretty damn nice. 6-foot person will fit in it pretty comfortably. I said you got your, your emergency brake and your forward and reverse. This one does not have a harness. They got a regular buckle system, but it does work quite well. Real nice heavy rear rack, and supposedly you can only put 25 pounds in there, but I'm sure you could put quite a bit more. 12-volt battery, and the electrical wiring on it, that's one thing. Just like with all go-karts, you might have to kind of monitor it. If you're having issues, chances are it's electrical. And inside this box, which I'll open up on another video, I'm going to put some performance upgrades. The carburetors on these, you can pick them up on eBay for cheaper than hell. These factory ones, as you can see here, them are basically tamper proof, and you have to drill it out. But if you go pick up another one, make sure you can pull it apart, because I'm going to put bigger jets in. I'll have a video on that, so make sure and subscribe and watch for future videos on this go-kart. Now the chain drive on this thing is very beefed up, heavy chain, and overall it's a pretty good kart. I think it weighs like 475 pounds. Supposedly load rating's 400, but I'm sure you could go 500 and still be all right. But underneath is pretty solid. I got a mount here for a GPS where we're going to test that out today against the speedometer and see how accurate it is. This is basically a stock go-kart. Like I said, I got a lot of upgrades coming, which fairly basic and easy to do. I'll put a video on what I did and see what we got for performance upgrades. So let's go ahead and start it up and see how she does. Alright, got my Sony action cam on. I've got a digital display here, which you probably won't be able to see with a camera, but we're going to go ahead and go up in the woods and get on some steeper upgrades and kind of show you what you can expect. About 18 miles an hour. Pretty steep hill right here. It said I'm about 230 pounds. Pretty good suspension on this. If you notice, some hellacious tree roots here. I'm on a pretty steep hill. I don't think my GPS is going to be real accurate in the woods, so you can travel up steep hills 8-10 miles an hour, no problem. Now you do some upgrades like I'm gonna, we're gonna find out how much better we can go. Pretty good tight turning radius on this. Let's try getting up this very steep incline here. And test the speedometer out and see what it'll do top end. Out on the road anyways. Alright, what I'm going to do is keep holding the camera to the phone GPS and then over to the other one. We're going to go down some hills and kind of on the flat and we'll see how close they are. Alright, we're going to record this in my tracks and see what the top end is and whatnot on a computer. Alright, on that stock carbide on the road, I had ran top speed of 36.1 miles an hour and an average moving was 23.2, and I ran for 2.09 minutes. Last test is going to be going up this steep hill here, and I'm going to turn it on before and then off, and we'll see what we're running for speed. This is going up that hill. Average speed was 10.1 miles an hour, max speed 14.5. That must have been at the bottom. Saying a max grade of 11%. So it's alright for stock. There's a carbide go-kart. Pretty rugged piece of equipment. Like I said, subscribe, watch for some videos of performance upgrades and whatnot. So there you go.